Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome to the Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu classes. Let us start with Mangalacharan prayers. I will share my screen and then we can see the prayer as well. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchak Pagalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Okay. Now we will move to Śrī Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu. So we are studying Śrī Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu by Srila Rupa Goswami, which has been translated into English as a summary study by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charana Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Is the audio clear, loud and clear?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay. I will recite these two verses and then we can recite the memorization verses together or lead follow. Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Paro Premamritambo Nidhi Dhira Dhira Priyo Priyakaro Nirmatsaro Pujito Shri Chaitanya Kripa Bharo Bhuvi Bhuvo Bharavahantarako Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalako. One thing that you can do that I recommend, as I am reciting, let the meaning appear in your mind. So we had discussed the meaning in the first class, so you can go back and look at it. I will show it here for just a brief moment, just so that it gets captured in the recording as well. So as we are reciting the verse, let the meaning appear in your mind. That is very important. That's when you will be able to connect with the 6 Goswamis. So this is very important to connect with our acharyas. Yesterday we were having Mayapur Yatra discussion and somebody was asking like, how do you connect, or what was any personal sort of realization you had and so on. This is the source of receiving any personal realizations when you visit the dhams and the places of actual residence and the samadhis of the acharyas. So these Ashtakams, these prayers are highlighting the character the pastimes of our acharyas. So you must connect with these. There is no better way to connect with the acharyas than this method. So as the Sanskrit is being sung, relish the meaning. So this is the second one. And the whole Ashtakam you should recite yourself and sort of, analyze the meaning when you have time. Long time back, I gave a class on all the 8 verses and decomposed the meaning. I might do that again, but you should do that on your own as well. Nana Shastra Vicharanaik Nipuno Sadharma Samsthapako Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhuvane Manyo Sharanyakaro Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nandena Mattaliko Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalako. So I will flash the meaning here for just 2 seconds and then we will move on. Okay. So memorization verses, some of you or all of you, if you want, you can unmute and we can do in a lead follow way. This will make you memorize it. It will become easier for you to memorize and, will be easy to write the test also. Anyabhilashita shunyam
Anyavilashita shunyam
karmadhyanavritam
Jnana-karma-dhyanavritam
yena krishnano
Anukulena krishnanu
bhaktiruttama
Sheelanam bhaktiruttama
sarvopadhi vinirmuktam
Sarvopadi vinirmuktam
yena nirmalam
Tatparattvena nirmalam
Shikesha
Shikesha
Kiruchyate
Sevanam
Devanam
bhaktiruchyate
Krishna Namadi
Atah Shri Krishna namadi
Grahyamindriyaihi
na bhavet grahayam indriyai
Devonmukhehi jivhadau
sevomukhe jivhado
Svayam eva suratyadaha
swayam eva suratyadaha
Nasaktasya vishayan
anasakta vishayan
Yatharham upayunjataha
yatharham yunjataha
Krishna Sambandhe
nirbandha Krishna sambandhe
Vairagyamuchyate
yuktam vairagyam uchyate.
Right? Okay. So now we will start our discussion for today. So last week, what did we cover? Anybody remembers?
64 limbs.
64 limbs.
Bhakti.
All right. And let me share again. Okay. So this was the last slide from last week, which is where Śrī Rupa Goswami is describing the 5 most important limbs of bhakti of all. Now, these are at the end 60 to 64. But in the beginning, what did he describe? What were the first several limbs of bhakti about? Anybody remembers?
Guru padashraya.
Yes, that is the name, not name, but that is the title of the first one. What is the sort of the general category of the first several?
The do's and the don'ts.
Do's and don'ts. All right. There is also, so that is correct. There is also another general category which is given to all the do's and don'ts.
That is the gateway.
Very nice. Gateway. So, if you remember, we'll go back here to all the. So 1 to 20. So yes, 1 to 10 are the do's, 11 to 20 are the don'ts. But overall, 1 to 20, these do's and don'ts are also called the gateway or the doors for entering the path of bhakti. Are you following? Okay. So let us come to this discussion. The first 20, this is very important discussion for everyone to understand. So please, wake up, be like super attentive. If you want to advance in your bhakti, it's a very important discussion. I found it very important for myself, hence I'm saying this. So please, you might also benefit from this. So let's have little discussion on this. What does it mean that these are the first 20 are the door to the next 44? Raise your hand and we'll only take 3-4 or answers, not many. If you would like, please raise your hand if you want to respond. What does it mean?
Without following this, we cannot advance in bhakti.
You need to raise your hand. Follow the first, following the rules.
Sorry.
Okay, please go ahead. And in the meantime, if 1 or 2 more devotees want to kind of put some thought and share, please feel free. Go ahead.
One cannot advance in bhakti without following these limbs.
Okay. Something more about it, Makarand Prabhu?
These are necessary even if we are not an expert in these before moving further.
Okay. So some more devotees, I want to pause for 30 seconds or maybe 1 minute and have you think, it's very important. Something which is more, again, I'm not saying you are just giving a theoretical meaning, but little bit more, I would say practical, something that can be actually applied. What does it mean it's a door? And you're giving very good answers. Both of you gave good answers, but again, trying to go a little bit more to unpack. So please think about it for 1 minute. Because it's a very important discussion. That's why I'm spending some time on it. Okay, Medha Mataji, go ahead.
One needs to have Shraddha in the process to enter the gate.
Okay. Anyone else? Yes.
And Sukruti also.
Okay.
Sukruti also.
Damodar Krishna Prabhu, go ahead.
Don'ts are like water, and if one pours water on the fire, it will never get burned. So that's why he need to avoid don'ts so that he can enter into next 44.
Say that again. I missed it. What did you say? Pouring water?
Pouring water on the fire. That's like don'ts are like pouring water on fire. So if one needs to avoid the don'ts so that he can enter into next 44, I was thinking this.
Then what about the first 10? We are talking about all 20, right? Yeah, I kind of recognize with your point. So, okay. Okay, so all of those are good points. So thank you so much. So let's move ahead. Here is just some thoughts I wanted to share. I'm not saying these are the right ones or the best ones or anything like that, but see if it resonates with you. And if it resonates with you, then good, take it with you. And if it doesn't, then it's okay, leave it. So whatever helps in your bhakti, please take it. And that is the purpose of the discussion. So I have thought about it for a long time, and here is what I came up with. And if it helps you, take it for what it is worth. So the point is that these 20, and we'll go over sort of those 20 a little bit in summary, but without a serious focus, really a serious focus on these 20, doing the next 44 will really have little to no effect. So I don't know if you have the list of 64, maybe you should print all the 64 on a sheet of paper with their meanings. And you should be ready to revise it or almost like be able to memorize it whenever needed. So when you look at it, at least for me, it's fairly straightforward to see that these 20 are really the foundation. And the foundation is sometimes, not sometimes, all the time, invisible. But if the foundation is strong, then the building on top of it, which is visible, is going to stay intact for a very long time, forever. But if the foundation is weak, then the building may fall. So if you want the building to last for a long time or forever, so to say, make a very, very strong foundation, without which, however beautiful your building may be with marble and gold, it will fall. And the difference is that these are usually invisible. This is like the foundation. So one must put a lot of effect on these 20. Otherwise, doing the remaining 44 very properly will have no effect, little or no effect. So it's like trying to, I have a small picture here, row a boat that is bound to the river bank. You can row as hard as you want. It will not move. So performing these 20 correctly or carefully, not correctly, but more like carefully, is like, cutting the rope. You need to cut the rope. And then even for the remaining 44, even if you move slowly, at least you are moving forward. There is no point in trying to move very fast on the 44 if you are still stuck to the river bank and you are not moving. So that is the sort of the essence of these 20. So one must put, and also, like I said last time, there is no point in waiting to become perfect in these 20. There is nothing called perfection. So you cannot keep putting time in just building the foundation, like many of the Indian construction site. They'll dig a big hole and then they will just put foundation, and for 10 years, there is no building. For various reasons, I'm just pulling a joke on the system in India. At least it used to be. Now it has become so much better. Anyway, so one should not just keep putting the foundation. At some point, one must start building the building also. But I hope you get the point. So therefore, focusing on the first 20 is so very important. It is extremely important to focus on these. So let us see what these 20 are. So what I'm going to do is go back and very quickly visit all the 20, and then we will summarize. So I will quickly just read out and make mental note of it. And it might be a useful thing for you to write down these on a piece of paper, print it out, take the effort to type it up, Like you say, when you write something, you remember it better. So write it down. Don't ask me for the slides. Or, it's not like, unless if I send you the slides, you will never have it. Write it down with your own hands. It will benefit you. I promise you. I mean, I can send the slides. It's not about me not sending slides. But what I'm saying is, don't get stuck. Oh, Prabhuji didn't send slides, so I don't have the list. That itself is a, not a very sincere starting point. So, Guru Pada Ashraya, taking shelter of the lotus feet of a Guru. Krishna Diksadi Siksanam, receiving Diksha and Bhajan Shiksha. Shiksha means Bhajan Shiksha. Vishrambhena Guroh seva, serving the Guru with faith and devotion. Sadhu vartmanam, following in the footsteps of the acharyas and other pure devotees. Sadharma priksha, inquisitiveness about bhajan riti. Bhog adi tyaga krishnasya hetave. Krishnasya hetave means for satisfaction or for the happiness or pleasure of Krishna, you do bhog adi tyaga. You give up the desire for bhoga, desire for sense enjoyment. Nivaso dvarakadau cha gangader api sannidhau. So residing in holy places like Dwarka or near the Ganga. Then this one, very important, vyavahareshu sarveshu yavad anuvartita. That accepting only what is necessary, no more, no less, and dealing with the material world only as much as necessary. No over indulging in materialistic world or materialistic people. Hari Vasara Sammano, observing holy days like Ekadashi, Janmashtami, etc. Then giving respect, Dhatri Ashwathadi Gauravam. So giving respect to worshipable trees and plants such as Amla, Peepal, Banyan, etc. This one very important. Now the don'ts. Sangatyago vidurena bhagavad vimukhair janaihi. So dur se, from far away, sangatyaga, avoid the association of those who are bhagavat vimukha, who are against or who are not interested in Bhagawan. Shishyadi an anubandhitvam, not being attached to making too many disciples or followers. Then not being enthusiastic for huge undertakings. And another important point we will discuss, if we get it today, is that which begins to impact your bhakti. Sometimes people take on a big project. At that time, they feel that they are doing it for the Lord, genuinely. Then later on, the material obstacles come. And then one is fully immersed in just solving material obstacles. And bhakti takes a back seat. And then you have come too far to go back. So a very careful analysis of the projects that you take on is very important. And to see that while you are going through this project, will you be able to maintain your Krishna consciousness throughout? If yes, then however big the project may be, it is good. It will allow you to focus on Krishna. But many times then the materialistic things take over and, Krishna, the focus on Krishna takes a back seat, and then you are just solving materialistic problems. So the focus should be to always remember Krishna, however big or small project you take. So therefore, big projects should be taken very carefully only by those who have the adhikar. Adhikar means the qualification. One should assess. I wanted to speak a little more on 13th one because I did not mention this aspect last week. So one should assess that what potential problems will come in this area and whether I will be able to solve those problems keeping my Krishna consciousness front and center. If yes, then take it up. Otherwise, don't take it up. Krishna consciousness, one's immersion or absorption in Krishna should be number one priority. Everything else is lower priority. And even building big temples, for example, here it is shown, one just contrast I wanted to draw. One can say that even the Goswamis built big temples. If you go to Vrindavan, the biggest temples are built by the Goswamis. Like Rupa Goswami built one of the biggest temples called the Govindaji Mandir in Vrindavan. And he's the author of this text. But the difference is they first got the money already and then they built. Somebody gave a huge donation. Instead of rejecting the donation, they accepted it. Then they thought, okay, what is the best thing I can do with this donation? Let's build a big temple. Same thing with Sanatana Goswami. The salt merchant came and gave a lot of donation. Then he built a temple. So one should have that sort of, that's at least from what I felt, that was a important observation that I felt in those cases. Because I have heard some people saying that, oh, even they built big temples. So that's one point to keep in mind. Anyway, let's go through it quickly. Avoiding the study of useless books to develop skill or art or just to show off or make a living. Bahu Grantha Kala Abhyasa Vyakhya Vada Vivarjitam. Then Vyavahare Api Akarpanyam, not feeling miserable in any material circumstances, not being affected by material losses. Shokadya Avasha Vartita, not being subject to lamentation or extreme emotions. Anya Deva Avagya, not showing disrespect to the demigods. Bhutana Dvega Dayita, not giving disturbance to any living entity. Seva Nam Aparadhanam Udbhava Abhava Karita, not committing any seva aparadh, nam aparadh, etc. Then Krishna Tad Bhakta Dvesha Vinindadya Asahishnuta. Asahishnuta means not tolerating any dvesha or ninda of Krishna or his devotees. So now let's sort of go back to these, and one thing you analyze here. Most of these limbs, I will say, almost there are 20, almost I would say 17 or 18 at least. Most are internal limbs. What does it mean by internal? Internal means that you cannot see it just by looking at a person, at least for a short time. You must live with the person for a long time. Then you will see whether they are executing these limbs or not. Now you can say Guru Padashraya. So yes, does he have a guru? Is he so and so Das or Devi Dasi or whatever? That is fine. That can be known in the first. What is your name, Prabhu? My name is so and so Param Karuna Das. Okay, fine. You are initiated, Diksha. Here we are talking about really, have we surrendered to Guru? Have we taken the real ashraya of Guru? Are we receiving shiksha from Guru? Is one doing seva to Guru? That cannot be known just because my name has Das. Okay, I can be a Das and I can be the most useless disciple, the most useless shishya of the Guru. So again, this is internal. All these are internal. Following the footsteps of sadhu, inquisitiveness about questions, bhoga adi tyagaha. How do you know? Here I am putting tilak, kurta, and then, in the night I may be, binging Netflix and, having a peg of whiskey and what all, you don't know till you, live in my house and see what I'm doing. So many of these things, again, Nivasa Dwarakado. So, okay, fine, I'm living in Portland, but also it means, have I created a holy, sacred, devotional environment around myself or not? Vyavahareshu, Vyavahar itself means one's behavior cannot be observed in one day. And so all these things, giving respect to the various trees, observing Ekadashi. Observing Ekadashi just doesn't mean eating sabudana and quinoa. That can be visible immediately, but the main focus of Ekadashi is to focus on Krishna. How do you know what is going on in my mind? I'm focusing on Krishna or cricket. So you cannot see that. Then giving up association of Bahirmukha people, not an easy thing to see. So all these, I won't go through the list all over again, but or how much I crave for followers, Shishyadi and Anubandhanam, Anubandhitvam. So all these things are very internal, not being subject to lamentation. Then vyavaharepi akarpanyam. How much I get affected by material loss? I don't know. Today I saw, or yesterday, Intel stock dropped to 12%. How do you know whether I was feeling like, miserable or equilibrium when I saw I get stock options or whatever you call RSU. So my whatever sank by 12% yesterday. How do you know how I felt? You don't know. So all these points are there. Okay. So let us go into this discussion. So please try to understand this point, that these are internal qualities that one need to develop. And these are very important so that then you can properly, with the right mood, with the right consciousness, you can execute the remaining 44. Remaining 44 are very external, like putting tilak on the body, dancing in front of the Lord, honoring the prasad. So many things are there, doing worship of the deity. Now, many of them are qualities as well that are internal. So I will say that it's not like a very binary discussion, but most are that can be sort of, they're more external. So that's why it's like a building on top of the foundation. So, but the foundation is extremely important. So this is what will make you a good devotee. And again, I said last time, so many devotees feel stagnant. The main reason is because they are forgetting to focus on these 20. You start focusing on these 20, you will see your building becomes so rock solid. It can become beautiful. When you're chanting, you can, chant in the most correct pronunciation and all those things. But if you have this desire for bhoga adi, or you have all these other tendencies, then whether you chant with good pronunciation or whether you chant at 16 or 64 rounds, it's going to be hard. So what I have done is that for me, I'm a little bit dull-headed person. So keeping these 20 in my mind is little hard. What are the 20? Since these are so important, I have categorized them into a group, some smaller group. So I wanted to share it with you. This is just my personal categorization. So if you disagree with me, that's okay. You can come up with your own categories. This is just, I'm sharing with you what my personal notes are. So this is just a glimpse of my personal notes that I have taken. I wanted to share with you all. So I have put here sort of these 8 different categories, and I have clubbed all the 20 in these 8 categories. So those numbers are also here. So the first thing is finding and accepting a guru. So ashraya, then diksha, then shiksha, and seva are all part of it. So having a very genuine and a strong relationship with a bona fide, qualified guru. That is number 1. Then number 2 is association. Seeking good association, good or excellent, I would say. Good is like, seems like good, better, best. So good is like 3rd category. It's not that kind of good. Good means like best or excellent association of devotees, and staying away from materialistic association. So again, very important. Then the 3rd one, which only has one of them in the category, but very important, is a sense of urgency. We will talk about it today. Then sense gratification, it's a long list, because we are all so much into sense gratification. If we don't begin to contain it or curb it, making full progress or full speed in sense gratification and trying to go full speed in bhakti is not possible. That's like trying to press accelerator and brake at the same time. It's just not possible. So sense gratification is like the exact opposite of accelerator. If you press both at the same time, it will result in disaster. So a lot of verses are about sense gratification. Residing in a devotional place or environment and atmosphere. So creating that sort of, I could have put this into association, but it was specifically talking, there are certain other aspects of it as well. But the main thing is having that sort of a space around ourselves, and space includes people as well, which is devotional. Then focusing on Krishna at all costs and at all times. Not forgetting why we are doing bhakti is to remember Krishna. We can make bhakti about so many other things. How many classes I have given, how many classes I have attended, how many rounds I have chanted, how much donation I have given, how many disciples I have, or what is my title in the hierarchy. I am treasurer, secretary, president, GBC. All those titles can be there. But if Krishna is not in the mind and heart, then nothing will move the needle. So that should be front and center, and then all the other things just in the mode of seva that one should focus. And then respecting all devotees and no criticism. So we saw that I have clubbed Anya Deva Avagya is part of this, because devatas are devotees of the Lord. So no disrespect to devotees. Sometimes, especially in ISKCON, we get too much, oh, you are demigod worshipper, so you are like a demon. So that kind of is a wrong mentality that has sort of I have observed in some people. So that should never be the case. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord says that, worship the Lord, but respect the demigods. Doesn't say disrespect. Okay, so demigods are worthy of our respect, and Krishna is worthy of our worship. So that is the distinction. And then avoiding offenses at all costs. Nam aparad, seva aparad, not causing disturbance to other jivas and so on. Okay, so this is how you can categorize. But as you can see, all these are internal and all these are foundational. You will not see any direct bhakti here as such, like singing the prayers or worshipping the deity or reading Bhagavatam. Those are more direct. So that is like the external building. This is the foundation. You make your foundation strong. Even if you have a small hut on top of it, it will stay forever. It's better to have a small hut on a strong foundation than to have a huge palace on a weak foundation. Very soon you will neither have a hut nor a palace, because the building will fall. So I think I have said enough on this topic. This is very important discussion. I felt, at least for me, it was very important when I was going through this reading and sort of contemplating. So I wanted to just share with all of you. Any comments or questions?
Prabhu, other 64 qualities are also can be categorized in these, or they have a different categories?
Other 44, you mean? So
Yes.
no, they are not possible to categorize much in this category. Though those are direct forms of bhakti. So for example, putting tilak, how will you categorize here? I don't know. Or dancing in front of you. So yeah, anyway.
He's asking any other categorization.
Other categorization. So my wife saying maybe, so yes, that we had other categorization, how to do bhakti with whole body, how to do bhakti with eyes, how to do bhakti with nose, how to do bhakti with all those, jnanendriyas, how to do bhakti with the mind, and then the 5 most important limbs of bhakti. So those categorizations were there, but this is the foundation. So please try to make a strong foundation. The goal is to have a long-lasting building on top of it, not a short-lived, beautiful building, because very soon it will fall. That is the main point. Anything else? Okay, we'll go ahead. So now we'll go into the details of all the 64. So the first one is Guru padashraya, which means taking the padashraya. Ashraya means shelter of pada, of the feet, lotus feet of a guru. So here, again, in the interest of time, to move forward with Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu and the whole Bhakti Shastri course, I'm not going into verse by verse. I was seriously debating for a long time, should I go into verse? I like to go into that, but I thought then it will take long time. And I want to little bit. So this is my effort to speed up, okay, little bit. So removing the actual Sanskrit is me trying to speed up. Just wanted to let you know. Okay, so this verse 97th, so now we are on 97, is the same as Bhagavatam 11:3:21, and it talks about taking shelter of a guru. So I will just summarize the main points of the verse as given by various acharyas. First and foremost, Srila Prabhupada, and then in the commentaries, I'm just telling you where all are my reference points. So there are two main commentaries to Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ by Srila Goswami and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. This is the English version by Bhanu Swami that I am using. I don't know. Yeah, you can see this. You can get it. It's available on Kindle also. You can get it. And then for all the Bhagavatam verses, there are other commentaries also available. So if a verse is from some other place, then I have no other source. But if it is from Srimad Bhagavatam, then there are Srimad Bhagavatam commentaries on those verses by, of course, Srila Prabhupada, and then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Jiva Goswami, Sridhar Swami, and other devotees, depending on which canto. So those are my sources of all the information that I'm trying to share with you. Okay, so let me ask a question. Today's class, I have little bit tried to put in some discussion. Why take shelter of a guru? Raise your hand if you have any significant or meaningful points to make. Okay, let's take these two devotees. Madhav Gauranga Prabhu, go ahead.
Krishna, we need a guidance to, properly follow the rules and regulation. And then our guru might have already attained that, what do you call he knows rules and regulation, and he will ask us to follow the rules and regulations so we can achieve what goals we want to achieve. That's why we have to have a shelter of the guru.
Okay, very nice. Sarvashakti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I'd like to add one point to what Prabhuji said. Taking shelter of a guru, we get connected to the disciplic succession, and Krishna won't accept anything directly from us, and it has to go up the disciplic succession, and his mercy, Krishna's mercy, will come through the disciplic succession. So it's very, very vital to take shelter of Guru Maharaj. So
nice. Shamlila Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, on similar lines, that Bhakti Lata Bij will come to us by the mercy of Guru only. So it's very important, like Sarvashakti Mataji said.
All right, very good. Okay, last, Ramakant Prabhu.
I think he's like a pot maker, and that is very essential part for the disciple, so that he make it beautiful from you. The beauty, he will shape your all structure.
Okay, very nice. Damodar Krishna Prabhu.
Prabhu, Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Bij. So because of Guru and Krishna only, like Guru and Krishna are like the two tracks, and we are like a train. So we have to take shelter of both together.
Okay, very nice. All right. Anything else? You raised your hand again? Probably by mistake. Okay. Okay. So let's move on. Surya Prabhu, do you want to say something?
It is a flower without smell.
Flower without smell. Okay.
Without Guru, the
Okay.
devotee cannot be a full devotee.
Okay. So from the acharyas commentaries, okay, let's move on. Okay, so we'll move on. So from the acharyas commentaries, there are main 3 points, and all the devotees hit on all the 3 points. So I'm very happy that you all are very thoughtful and have given very meaningful answers. So like Madhav Gauranga Prabhu said, to dispel doubts of the disciple. I'll go quickly and then we'll discuss little bit more analysis. Then I think this is what Ramakant Prabhu said, like making the pot, or to actually undergo the process of surrender. So why take the disciple actually goes through the process of surrender when he surrenders to Guru, and I will explain what it means. And the third one, I think Sarvashakti Mataji and someone else also said, to receive Krishna's grace. So let us see what these mean. So firstly, from the verse, again, we didn't go through the Sanskrit of the verse, but there are 3 main points in the verse, and which describe 3 characteristics of a guru. So the first one is that he is or he should be himself deeply well versed in Bhakti Shastri. This is a section of the verse, Shabde Brahmani Nishnatam. So he needs to be able to dispel the doubts of a disciple. He needs to be clear about it, first of all. And it doesn't mean that he can quote verses left and right. That is not the meaning. Okay, so don't think that, oh, my guru cannot quote verses and this other disciple's guru can quote so many verses. That's not the point. The point is to be able to convey the meaning or the realizations from the Shastra. Okay, so one need and be able to and those realizations should be aligned with the conclusions of the Shastra. And then if you can quote verses to back it up, that is additionally beneficial. So, and for that, one very important thing which I came across is that these 2 verses are quoted by one of the 2 acharyas, Jiva Goswami or Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who have commented on Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ, that they themselves have had another qualified guru. So they are coming from a very bona fide and qualified lineage. And one needs a guru to get the knowledge. There is this sort of new age understanding that self-study is enough. We have all the books, we have the commentaries, everything is there. Why we just cannot get it from the book? Why we need a guru? So it is given in these 2 verses. Again, I could have gone into these verses. They are very beautiful, but due to lack of time, I'm not. So self-study alone is insufficient. One cannot get the full knowledge by self-study. Self-study is mandatory, but not sufficient. Like they say, it's a necessary, but whatever. It's necessary, but not sufficient condition. So therefore, a guru is needed, and you receive knowledge from the guru, from Bhakti Shastra knowledge from the guru. Second point is that he must have direct experience of the absolute truth. So it's not just about the knowledge. He must have the realizations to be able to convey, to be able to convince the disciple as well. If the disciple is asking a question, you can give a right answer, but still not convince the disciple. So it's the ability to convince that comes when he has himself experienced the result of performing bhakti. And the third thing is that he is himself established in equanimity, in internal tranquility. And I think Jiva Goswami says it means freedom from anger and greed. And externally, it manifests as Shravana and Kirtana. Okay, so these are the main points I have taken out from the commentaries, and I am sharing with you. Okay, so now going back to this question of why take shelter of Guru. So there are three answers that we got: to dispel our doubts, to dispel the disciples' doubt, then to actually or in reality undergo the process of surrender, and to receive Krishna's grace. So let us try to see that. So first one is that Guru dispels disciples' doubts. So by now, hopefully that part is clear. So firstly, like we said, Guru's own doubt must be clear, which means he needs to be an expert in the Bhakti Shastra. Only that he can dispel the disciples' doubts or other people's doubt. And the point is that once doubts are dispelled, the disciples' faith increases in the process, that yes, I am on the right track. If he sees that this Guru itself doesn't know the answer and he's also struggling with the same questions that I am, then one may think that, oh, my questions are legitimate and maybe there is no answer. And that will diminish the faith. So that is the first point. And this one is the more obvious one. Second one is learning real surrender. So a common counterpoint is that, oh, I surrender to Bhagawan, to the Lord. Why do I need to surrender to Guru? Okay, so some devotees have made a very excellent point and I wanted to share with you. At a beginner level, so yes, at an advanced level, there is no difference between surrendering to Guru and surrendering to Bhagawan. That is true. But at a beginner level, so I'm appending this with a beginner level, surrender to Bhagawan, which means deity. For a beginner, what is Bhagawan? A deity or a picture or something like that is theoretical. Why is it theoretical? Because when you surrender, you serve or you follow the instructions or you do something. For deity, it is much easier, isn't it? Surrender to a deity is so much more easy than surrendering to Bhagawan. How it is easier? Any thoughts? Many of you are serving deities.
Because
Raise your hands if possible. And others can raise while he speaks. Go ahead.
He can do it on his own at his convenience.
Okay. Ramakant Prabhu?
actually, when we are serving deity, there's no one to watch, and clearly we are at our own level. But when we are we are serving with the Guru, then he is having all the senses also, and he will see what are the shortcomings in our surrender.
Okay.
So will shape us.
Bhakti-rasāmṛta Mataji, did you raise your hand or I don't see it raised anymore?
Yes, Prabhu, I did, but Prabhu already, I was in the same.
But please go ahead, share it anyway.
Yeah, I was thinking for the deity seva, we can have a personal relationship with the deity when we are serving. And Prabhu was mentioning about the same thing, for the Guru, he can see it, what shortcoming we have. And of course, in a higher level, deities is also seeing our shortcoming, because we have a relationship with him as well.
Okay, very nice. Sarva Shakti Mataji.
Prabhuji, I just wanted to add a little bit of what to what Mataji and Prabhuji said. Like a guru can discipline us, like if we're doing something wrong, he can chastise us and discipline us to make us go in the right path, which we cannot perceive at the beginning stages with the deities directly. So that's what I think.
Okay. So I will put it in little more crude language, and because I have myself done this offense, like so to say, like earlier when my wife used to go out of town and I had to take care of our deity, sometimes the deity would have to survive only on nuts and water. So, but he doesn't complain. Deity never complained to me. He never came and woke me up saying, I'm feeling more hungry and please give me something more than the few almonds and cashew nuts that you have given me all day. You cannot do that with a guru. And that's why, when that's why when she goes these days out of town, then I don't take care of our deities because I cannot cook. So we request somebody else to do it. And serving a person is much harder. Now, guru is very, very merciful, but sometimes serving a person is really hard. Like for my mother, sometimes when you cook chapati, then that day she wants rice, and when you cook rice, then that day she wants chapati. So like that, deity will never complain whether you give rice or chapati or just nuts. No demands. So from that angle, for a beginner level, one may think that they are surrendering to Bhagawan, but that is a easy cop out that yes, I am surrendering, but it is a surrender out of convenience. Whereas when you actually surrender to Guru and actually do seva to Guru, it is much harder. So therefore, seva of Guru is much harder and requires a much deeper level of faith, submission, and surrender. So Guru will never demand anything, but if he sees a shortcoming in the seva, he may not even point out. If he is very kind and very, compassionate, sometimes he will point out, sometimes he may not. But next time, he will ask some other disciple for the seva. He will not ask. So like that, one will see that, oh, this time I got deprived of the seva, or various other ways. So one has to be very careful in serving the Guru, and that requires real surrender. So basically, the point is, unless one can surrender to Guru properly, there is no question of being able to surrender to Bhagawan in the true sense. So, which means that Guru teaches us surrender, the real surrender. So when we are able to surrender and serve Guru properly and make him happy, if he says, I am happy, or we see that he is happy, or which means he is repeating, like, when you do nice seva, you get repeat seva. You get asked again to do the same thing. All mothers know if they cook nicely some item, the child will next time when you ask, what do you want? I want that one that you made the other day, which means he liked it. So in the same way, then we understand what is real surrender. And then the third point, which I think Sarvashakti Mataji made, is that the grace of Krishna is received only via the Guru. This is also very important to understand, that taking shelter is not like you take it, it's sitting on the shelf, waiting for you to pick it up. No, shelter is not like that. It is a two-way process. Krishna does not give shelter to unqualified people. So if a homeless person is knocking on a door, just because he's knocking doesn't mean he will get to enter. Let's say that he's unqualified. And when I say homeless, I mean very compassionate, but let's say somebody that you do not want to enter your house. The other person has to open the door. Only then that process of, then he can enter the shelter. Let's say it's called a homeless shelter. So, one has to knock, and then on the other side, other person has to open. But Krishna has very high standard for opening his door for the shelter. But Guru is far, far more merciful than Krishna himself. He opens the door more easily to his house. Once you are in the Guru's house, then Guru has knocked on the door of his Guru. And like this, a whole series of doors open, ultimately leading to the door of Krishna, and the whole group enters. Everybody that starting from the first Guru. So in our Sampradaya, our first Guru is Brahmaji, then Narad Muni, then Vyasadev. So when Krishna opens the door for Brahmaji, a whole battalion will enter. So Krishna cannot say no, because he really is pleased with Brahmaji. And Brahmaji is pleased with Narad Muni. Narad Muni is pleased with Vyasadev, all the way till Srila Prabhupada and our Guru, and then, we all get to enter just because Krishna opens the door for one devotee. Everybody is able to enter. So that is why that's called connection to the disciplic succession. So that's why we need to take shelter of Guru. Okay, then we'll go to the next one. So we covered more than just Guru or taking shelter, but we'll go to the next one. Yes, Sai Prabhu. So what's your question? Let's see. It is not easy to get deity to have a very direct human relationship with us constantly. Okay. We can sit or walk together with a guru and have a long and deep conversation like Arjuna and Krishna. Okay. Okay, so that's a comment. What if we can't find a guru we resonate with, or conversations do not give relief to one's seeking? Yeah, so finding a guru is a very tough task. Okay. And that is, like you said, one of the advantages of Kali Yuga is that Kalau tad hari kirtanat krite tad dhyayato vishnum tretayam yajato makhaihi dvaparayai paricharyayam kalau tad hari kirtanat. So there are some advantages of Kali Yuga, that whatever can be achieved in Satyuga by meditating on Vishnu, and in Treta Yuga by performing big yajnas, in Dwapar Yuga by performing worship, elaborate deity worship, can be achieved in Kali Yuga by Hari Sankirtan. That's an advantage. There are disadvantages of Kali Yuga as well. And one of the disadvantages is how to find a bona fide guru. They are not so readily available. They are very few and far between. So yes, one has to look, and it's a hard thing. Now, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we have a society where we have several nice gurus. Also, we have a system of Shiksha gurus. So by the permission of a Diksha guru, one can say that, yes, you can get your Shiksha, or, resolve your doubts, etc., from this so-and-so person who is more readily available and more accessible, has more time, has fewer sort of such responsibilities. So that is one system. So some system has to be set up by the guru. If the guru otherwise is just accepting disciples and has zero time to answer any questions by the disciple, then that is a problem. Or he can give a blanket instruction that, okay, here is your mentor, counselor, etc. You can ask you. So I do not know of any guru within ISKCON who doesn't have such a system. So there are many gurus with many disciples. There are gurus with some fewer disciples, but they all have some system in place to resolve doubts. And after having gone through that resolution process, even if it is not resolved at that time, then you can go to the guru and say, I have done all this questioning and all that. Now it's not resolved. You only can answer. Like, first you go to appeals court and whatever, high court, and then you go to Supreme Court if you are still not satisfied. So then they should entertain such questions. So, so that is as far as the finding a guru whom we can have these conversations with. Now, somebody who you resonate with, etc., that you will know once you hear from the guru. You have to understand the mood and mission of the guru. So you have to find somebody who you resonate with, and that can come with associating with the guru, and whom you have not yet accepted as the guru. You have not taken shelter. So you're just associating with an advanced devotee and see if it resonates. And then if it does, then you accept their shelter. Okay. So that's how much I can say. I hope that is useful. Okay. So yes, it's not a slam dunk, as we say in basketball, or piece of cake. This is Kali Yuga, and this is one of the hard things in Kali Yuga. And there's a reason why Kali Yuga is known as a, iron age or age of problems. So this is one of the problems. Everything is not hunky-dory and rosy in Kali Yuga. Okay, next we'll go to Krishna Diksadi Shikshanam. So here, first one takes shelter of Guru. Before that, of course, one tests or finds a Guru. That is not listed as one of the things, but that comes even before taking shelter. Guru padashraya is to search for a Guru, proper Guru who is, who you can resonate with. Okay, then you take Diksha, and then you take systematic Shiksha from the Guru. May not be directly from Guru, may be directly from Guru, or from a proper delegate of the Guru. So receiving Diksha and Bhajan Shiksha. What kind of Shiksha? Not Shiksha in, any kind of kalas or any arts or skills, professional skills, but in Bhakti. So Shiksha is Bhajan Shiksha, as per the commentary given by Śrī Rupa Goswami. And then this verse shows how the disciple sees and executes his relationship to the Guru. So the previous verse was showing the characteristics of Guru. This one we can say shows the characteristics of the disciple. Okay, so this one is saying what the disciple should do, or what is the mood, do and mood, which means sees and executes. So the last one is the sees. Let's cover the fourth one first. He always considers his Guru as his life and soul and his worshipable deity. So Guru is like the life and soul for the disciple and a worshipable deity. Then doing, disciple must study Bhagavat Dharma, Bhakti principles from Guru. And this study, it's not just study like receive. The disciple gives also in the form of continuous seva. It's called anuvritti in the Sanskrit. Okay. And then the third thing is this seva is amayaya. Amayaya means without any duplicity or ulterior motive. So it's not like you want to, after the Guru passes away, you become the next Guru. So you want to take over his kingdom, or you want his money, or whatever donations come, I get a cut, or there can be thousands of ulterior motives, who knows. So with amayaya, with no material motives, one should do unmotivated, continuous, kind of similar to ahaituki apratihata, seva of the Guru. Okay. So these are the duties of the disciple. Can you ask them to be quiet? Then this one is focusing Vishrambhena guroh seva. So this one is focusing on the seva aspect, which was discussed in the previous verse in the commentary. But this verse is specifically, and this item, Vishrambhena guroh seva, is focusing on that. So this verse is the same as Srimad Bhagavatam 11:17-27, and talks about serving the Guru, and Vishrambhena means with confidence. So this is a mature stage. One starts with serving the Guru, but then with confidence means that you know the mood and the priorities of the Guru. So you almost become like you can think of it like a principal secretary or something like that of the Guru. So you can speak on the Guru's behalf. Now, again, one should never take advantage of this. If one gets a doubt, one should ask the Guru. But like in the case of Srila Prabhupada, so many times there was Tamal Krishna Maharaj. So he was very strong, and many times he would take decisions on behalf of Srila Prabhupada because he would know the mood of Srila Prabhupada, what he would have responded in particular case. That is called with confidence. Not like for every little thing keep running to the Guru. And the Guru is pretty much having to spend more time telling you what to do, then he will say, I will just do it myself. So that is the Vishrambhena part, which comes later with when one is more mature in one's relationship to the Guru. All right, so that is serving the Guru with confidence. Now, serving, why Guru or Seva? Okay, Vishrambhena we talked about. Why is the Seva aspect emphasized by Śrī Rupa Goswami? Any thoughts? Of course, we can say that, yes, we must do Seva. Don't just take, we must give. So that's one answer. Any other thoughts?
Because that's our eternal position.
Okay. Yes, Damodar.
Seva purifies.
Sorry, raise your hand if you want to say something. Arora Prabhu. Okay, go ahead, Arora Prabhu. I couldn't hear what you said.
We're feeling that seva purifies the soul.
Okay, Seva purifies the soul.
It kills the ego. Like when you're serving, no, you're down. So without any ulterior expectation, I think it's very necessary.
Okay, fine. Let me modify the question. Something which we have not discussed so far. So that aspect we discussed already, that it teaches us real surrender. So yes, that's a good point. Yes, Damodar Krishna Prabhu.
Which the seva to Guru can the Guru can pass on that seva to Krishna.
Okay, very nice. So this seva we can do to Guru so that it is in turn serving Krishna. Nice point. Yes, Medha Mataji.
It develops a sense of humility,
Develops a sense of humility. Yes, very nice. So one more point. Anybody else, by the way? Yes, Neelam Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, to get mercy mercy from the Guru, like mercy, get his mercy.
Yes, very nice. So, as we have discussed, I don't know if we have discussed previously, but in the first canto, in the very beginning, it is mentioned that seva makes the disciple dear to the Guru. And then what happens is that the Guru reveals his heart, his innermost confidential teachings to the disciple. So there is something special that the Guru saves for his dear disciples. It says, Bruyah snigdhasya shishyasya guravo guhyam apyuta. So for his snigdha shishyas, the Guru gives guhya gyan or guhya knowledge. So one can get that by very sincere service to the Guru. And then seva, by the way, does not always mean physical seva or, serve, massaging his feet or whatever, physical seva. It means carefully following his instructions, whatever those instructions are. If Guru has given a personal instruction, very carefully following those instructions is seva to the Guru. One must not think, oh, this means if he is saying, go manage this temple, it's not direct seva to him. Well, that must have mattered to him, which is why he is saying that you go do this, and we should do it. We should carefully execute Guru's instructions. Okay, so Vishrambhena Guroh Seva, we covered that. So now actually there are, so a couple of other points are there in the verse. So meaning of seva to the Guru. So one must understand. Yes, Damodar Krishna Prabhu, do you have a question? Or
Prabhu, I was asking in the first two chapters of NOD, I think Srila Prabhupada says that only way to get love for Krishna is the dust of the lotus feet of Guru. So is that related to seva in some way?
one can consider that because Srila Prabhupada has said it, it becomes an instruction for us. And in that way, we execute that. But I would say that, yes, one definitely accepting the dust of the lotus feet of the Guru, or the Charanamrit, or the remnants of the Guru, and so on, are very potent for a disciple. But it is more, seva involves following his instructions. So unless he has instructed that you take the dust of my feet, which I don't think any Guru will say, it may not fall directly in the category of seva, but it is definitely an act which advances the disciple for sure. Okay. Otherwise, one can say that, okay, I'm just taking the dust of the feet of my Guru and I'm doing seva. If one has a desire to do seva, how do you get to know that? What is seva? You have to ask the Guru. You cannot just say, oh, I'm just every day touching the dust of his feet and I'm doing seva. My seva checkbox is done. And you never cared to ask the Guru, how can I serve you? So the first step in serving the Guru is to ask, especially with a living Guru, I'm saying. One must ask, how can I serve you? Sometimes many people don't ask because they fear, what if he says, gives an answer, and then I have to do it. So better not ask. And I will just take the dust off the feet and put it on my head, and I'm like done with my seva. I'm chanting my 16 rounds. I'm taking some dust, putting on my head. I'm doing seva to Guru. I will never ask him, Guru Dev, how can I serve you? So in that sense, I'm trying to say that it's not sufficient. If he doesn't say anything, he says, no, I'm fine, I don't need any seva. Then in that case, in your heart, you continue to chant your 16 rounds, take some dust, put it on your head, or he might give general instructions that all my disciples should do X, Y, Z. And in that case, you do that, take that general instruction. But again, that general instruction should not prevent you from asking your Gurudev, if you ever get a chance to meet personally or write to him personally, email or letter. In the end, please, you must ask, is there any way I can serve you? 99% he will say, never say anything. But from your side, you should ask. Otherwise, there could be, who knows, many reasons. There are so many reasons people don't ask. So don't be in that category of not asking. And definitely not in the category of not asking in the fear of receiving an answer. बोल दिया तो क्या करेंगे? फंस गए. So then Guru just becomes a title. I am so and so Das. He is just the giver of the title. So that's not why one takes shelter. All right. And I know you have done so much seva for your Gurudev. You have gone and served him in his ashram for weeks. So I should ask you how you have served. I have never served my Gurudev in such a deep capacity. So you are actually a perfect candidate, Damodar Krishna Prabhu and Shameshwari Mataji. I'm just sharing with others. They have done personal seva to their Gurudev quite a lot. And I am very inspired by their personal service to their Guru. So they should share with us their experiences of personal seva to their Guru. It's a very, very inspiring couple. Okay, hopefully that answers or gives some idea.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, meaning of seva to Guru. So first one must understand who is a guru. So this is now going into that point that was made earlier, that always considering guru as one's life and soul and their worshipable deity. So that is the point being brought out also in this verse, that who is guru? He's not just like a guru means not teacher is a bad translation for the word guru. It is only a 5% translation. Guru is called as one of the non-translatables. There is no one word which can capture who is a guru. You have to write an essay. So it's not just teacher like we see in school. Do not think that guru is an ordinary man or ordinary human being. For a disciple, guru is as good as God. This is a very famous verse which starts with acharyam mam vijaniyam. What it means is that it's in the 11th canto in the Uddhav Gita. So Lord Krishna is telling Uddhavji that consider your acharya same as me, as my swarupa. Acharyam mam vijaniyam. You should know vijaniyam, the acharya, to be the same as me. So one's acharya should be considered as Lord's or Krishna's swarup. And he says guru is the embodiment of all the devas. Therefore, seva of guru means what? Seva of guru means as much respect and seva to guru as one would give to God in the proper sense. Now, this does not mean in the beginner sense where you give just nuts and water. No, this is in the proper sense, whatever is written in Shastra, how to serve Bhagawan. That is how we must do seva of guru. Because for disciple, guru is as good as Bhagawan. Acharyam mam vijaniyam. So then one gets the full understanding, okay, however we serve Bhagavan, we can serve Guru. Okay, next one we will go in is another very important one where Śrī Rupa Goswami has spent 4 verses, sadhu, vartma, anuvartanam. So 3 verses he has 100, 101, 102. And these are not from Bhagavatam, these are from various other scriptures. Okay, looks like Sai Prabhu has a question. Seems odd question. What if we see God as close friend, then we should find a guru who will be as good as bosom best friend. Okay, I just wanted to share one point that when there are certain specific bhavas to serve Krishna. When we say friend, and if I take it as sakhya, okay, now if as a friend, if you mean madhurya, it's a whole different thing. But as sakhya, which means friendship, having the bhav or the relationship of a friend, that sakhya relationship is also a sakhya in the mood of service. What does my friend need? And I will make it available for my friend. But as a friend, not as a das. Okay, so there is that dasya bhava embedded within sakhya as well. So now if one is asking, what if I have a madhurya bhava, a feeling of conjugal love towards Bhagavan, that is a whole different thing. Then it is more like a manjari or a, manjari bhav it is called. I will not go into those details. But the mood of seva is even there in that. So seva is always a component. It is not just a feature of dasya. It's there in vatsalya, sakhya, as well as madhurya as well. So I will just say that I'm not very advanced to talk about this topic, but seva is included in all the aspects of relationship of Bhagavan. And the nature of the seva may differ. But the mood of the seva is always there. Okay. And we can see through I am myself going through 10th canto, and you can go through the 10th canto and you will see various devotees serving Krishna in various capacities. And there is a lot of seva bhav even in the mood of the gopis as well. Okay. Where were we? Yeah, sadhu vartma anuvartanam. So these are from various scriptures, and this talks about, the translation is that one must search the path followed by the saints. Sadhu vartma anu, or following the footsteps of the sadhus. So one must search the path that had been followed by the sadhus. And such a path, these sadhus, so two main points are there. One is that this path does not include too much material struggle. So material aspects or too much hard work, material hard work or material struggle is, if it is there in the path of sadhu, you know there's a problem. Okay, so sadhus are very much removed from that. And the second aspect is that it is aligned with Bhakti Shastri. So those are the ones that are, so first we must identify who is a sadhu, or is the path that is being shown by this sadhu, is the sadhu the right sadhu that I should follow? Because there are so many sadhus. Many are imposters and fake also. So how do you differentiate between a genuine sadhu? And if the sadhu is genuine, then the path will be genuine, but these are the characteristics of a genuine sadhu. And self-manufactured path, many sadhus may say, okay, I have defined this path and all, is just a disturbance to the society. Why it is a disturbance to the society? Because if the sadhu just says it's a self, I have made this path. Once that sadhu is gone, has passed away, who is there to answer questions or provide guidance based on the principles that he has told? Only he can tell. So it is open to constant change and revision. And very soon, you know, every follower that will come will have his own version, and then it devolves into so many possible things like fanaticism, ritualism, mayavad, impersonalism, or just materialistic show business that, you know, oh, what you have to do is do just Bhagavat Saptaha for professional. That is what you, professional kathakar we say. Professional means it's your professional. So you are paid to do Bhagavat Katha, for example, and then they negotiate also. Now, of course, you know, they also need to live, but there should not be this kind of a negotiation. They should be willing to do Bhagavat Katha. Whatever donation they get, they should be happy with that. So it can have, yeah. Now, in the next couple of verses, one of the things that Rupa Goswami has emphasized is the importance of Bhakti Shastri, that these sadhus must, the path that they show, which we are supposed to follow, should be the path that is aligned with Bhakti Shastri. And let me go through it a little bit. Yeah, so this verse is very important. Oops. So you might have heard of this verse. Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatra Vidhim Vina Ekantikir Harer Bhaktir Utpateva Kalpate Utpataeva Kalpate. So it's a very famous verse. I don't know if many of you might have heard it already. So what it means is that kind of bhakti, so ekantiki bhakti, ekantiki means one-pointed, Harer bhakti, even if it is one-pointed bhakti to Hari, or it appears to be like that, okay, it is a utpataya eva kalpate. It is a utpat. Utpat means a disturbance to society. If there is a condition, if it is not based on the vidhis, vidhim vina, if it is without the vidhis of Shruti, Smriti, Purana, Adi, Pancharatra. So 4 types of scriptures have been mentioned here. Shrutis, Smritis, Puranas, and Pancharatras. If that ekantiki Harer Bhakti is not based on the vidhis of these scriptures, then it is simply a disturbance to society. So this is a very important verse. And here Śrī Jiva Goswami goes on and describes that therefore even Buddha and Dattatreya are rejected by the Vaishnavas. Because even though they are mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, their names are mentioned, and Srimad Bhagavatam is our topmost scripture, and they are mentioned as incarnations. You can go look at Bhagavatam, the 3rd chapter of 1st canto, 11th verse, there is Dattatreya ji which is mentioned. And in the 24th verse, Bhagawan, Buddha is mentioned. But if you go and read, for example, for Bhagawan Buddha, it is mentioned in the Bhagavatam itself. It says, Sammohaya Suradvisham. That the incarnation of Buddha, Lord took the incarnation of Buddha to attract Sammohaya Suradvisham, to those who had dvesha or who were antagonistic to the suras, means to the devotees. So basically those who were completely already deviated people and who were against the devotees, for those people Lord Buddha came to attract them. Not the devotees don't need to go to Lord Buddha. So Buddha and Dattatreya, because they rejected the Vedas, so to attract those kind of people, they started off with the premise, oh, let's reject Vedas. And they were able to attract those people and at least bring them to the mode of goodness. Like Lord Buddha's, his main teaching was ahimsa. So that is definitely, and then he tricked them into Hari Bhakti because he is himself Hari. Definitely Lord Buddha is Hari. And because they are worshipping Buddha, in a sense, unknowingly they are worshipping Hari. So that's a nice thing. But we as Vaishnavas don't need to follow that line of thought, because it starts itself with the rejection of the Vedas. So we don't follow that. And then later on, it will get devolved, as did the teachings of Buddha, and they were devolved into, voidism and impersonalism and all that. So that personal aspect of Bhagavan is not preserved in that tradition. Okay, we'll move forward. Yeah. So why do we need to follow sadhus? This topic is all about sadhu vartma anuvartanam. So following sadhus. So just a quick summary on following sadhus. That first of all, Shastra is paramount. Then once you find a sadhu who is following the Shastra, a saint or a pure devotee, the benefit of following the footsteps of a sadhu is the following: that they show by personal example of how to apply Shastra, how to follow Shastra in their life. They show that. So when one sees how a sadhu deals with tough situations in their life, and so many sadhus, almost every sadhu faces tough situations. Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami faced tough situation with Nawab Hussain Shah. He put Sanatan Goswami in jail. And Srila Prabhupada faced so many tough situations. He had 2 heart attacks while coming to United States. And then so many people tried to cheat him when he was trying to build a temple. And so many tough situations he faced. In his life, before coming to the West, he tried to promote Krishna consciousness. He tried to bring Gaudiya Math together. Didn't, faced constant disappointment. So the Lord was testing him, one can say, but he dealt with. So one can see through Prabhupada Lilamrit and through the biographies of various saints, we can see how they dealt with tough situations. 2 aspects: without losing equilibrium, which means without giving in to greed, or without getting angry, anger and greed. Okay. So without giving into those vices of anger or greed, how they were able to maintain equilibrium and always keeping Krishna as front and center. Front and center. Finally, even if they lose or doesn't work out as per their desire, we'll say, okay, maybe this is Krishna's plan. So always keeping Krishna front and center. That's what we can learn from them. Okay. Any other sadhus like this come to mind from where any devotees have gained very strong inspiration from the life of sadhus? You want to name some? Anybody? Yes, go ahead, Damodar Krishna Prabhu.
I was hearing to one Radha Govind Swami Maharaj's lecture, and then he was saying that he got brain stroke and heart surgery and everything, heart attack. And then he said, but that was the mercy of Krishna. So, I mean, I was like, how come he's seeing that as the mercy of Krishna? But then he said, because of heart attack, I was able to take darshan of Krishna. Like I was taken to some place where there was the deities of Krishna. So he was seeing even heart attack as the mercy of Krishna. So that was one of the experience I have with Maharaj.
Very nice. And I'm sure you're not sharing about your own Guru Maharaj, Shri Srimad Giriraj Maharaj. He faced so many hardships for Srila Prabhupada. He was the one who built the temple, Juhu temple, with so many hardships. So it's just himself wonderful example. Anyone else? So if you're not getting any examples in your mind, then you need to read more. So if many of you may be shy of sharing or feeling sort of a little shy or not wanting to share, that's okay. But if you are genuinely not getting any examples in your mind, you definitely take it as an indication that you need to read more about the biographies of the great Vaishnavas. And there is...
Radhanath Swami Maharaj comes to my mind.
Go ahead.
Radhanath Swami Maharaj.
Yes, but what, like any, just one or two
I
lines?
mean, his journey to India, his quest for, spirituality, and he undertook all the hardships.
Yes.
And he only had God in center that time. He just believed in God. Krishna came much later, but yes.
Very, very true. He said in Iran or where he almost got killed.
Almost, yes.
And we will talk about that in actually his example I wanted to give. He has written this wonderful book called Journey Home.
Journey Home, yeah.
Where he has described it. But I just wanted to bring it up in the next topic, which is Sadharma Pricha, that desperation to, for your inquisitiveness. Anyway, go ahead, Damodar Krishna Prabhu. We are running over time, so very quickly.
Yes, Prabhu. So we can see from example of Pandavas, Yudhishthira Maharaj is a pure devotee. They all are pure devotee and they face so much.
Yes, very true, very true. But when we say sadhus and saints, definitely Pandavas are sadhus and saints, but at least somewhere more contemporary, little bit more who are not eternal associates or whom we don't directly see as eternal associates of Bhagawan, who kind of go through the same kind of struggles that sort of we go through and who do not have these kind of supernatural powers where, like Bhima could, kill pretty much any demon. So, yeah. Okay. Surya Prabhu, and then we'll move on.
Swami Vivekananda also faced a lot of problems to come to USA and do prachara for the Hinduism.
Yes, very nice. Yes. Okay, let's move on. Ramakant Prabhu will move on, if you don't mind. I want to finish a couple of points before we end, and we are already running a little bit over. So, that is what we learn from the life of the sadhus, and we should definitely focus on the biographies or the lives of Vaishnava saints. And it gives us the confidence that such a life that, living by the principles of the Shastra is possible, is not only possible, is actually far more superior and blissful. So that is what we get to learn. That is the confidence we get, and we get the confidence to take small steps in that direction. So this is the main point that we understand from following in the footsteps of the sadhus. So one must make it a very high priority to follow the footsteps, at least to know the life of the sadhus and then try to follow. At least knowing, that is easy, no? Following, one may say, oh, it's so hard. But at least knowing you must have. Then you may get the inspiration to follow. We will cover one more today. I hoped to cover at least 10, but we are only able to cover 5. So let's cover this one. This is also very important. Sadharma Pricha. And it is from Naradiya Puran. And it talks about inquisitiveness of Bhajan Riti. Bhajan Riti means the process of how to advance in Krishna consciousness. So inquisitiveness about that. And also, if you look at the Sanskrit of this verse, it focuses on inquisitiveness with desperation. desperation or a sense of urgency, a sense of like, I need the answer right now. Tomorrow, if I get the answer, it's no good. I am desperate to get the answer right now. So that sense, that is the meaning, or that's the sense of this desperation. So the translation of that verse 103 from Naradiya Puran, I liked the translation, and it is those who are desperately minded to know about the Saddharma, which is translated as Bhajan Riti, obtain their dearmost desire very quickly. So if you want answers to your questions, you must first have deep questions, questions that matter to you, questions that you are desperate to get the answer. And if you really have such a question, Lord Krishna will make sure, here this verse is saying from Naradiya Puran, that such desires to get answers to such questions, the Lord fulfills very quickly. Many people say how to find Guru. Maybe it's a, not such a serious question for that person. But if you have a very serious desire to find Guru, have that desperation. You go every day and pray to Krishna, why I'm not able to find Guru till today? One more day is gone. One more day is gone. One more day is gone. Krishna will respond. Or having such serious question. So a very two examples of such questions are in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Both are conversations, isn't it? And both are conversations between a desperate disciple. Arjun was desperate. In the middle of the war, pretty much. The bugles had been sounded. If you read Bhagavad Gita chapter 1, both sides had sounded their bugles, the shankha. And then he gets the doubt. And then he finds himself in this desperate situation. And that is when he has this most important conversation of his whole life. And the questions he's asking is not just so, why it is desperate, because the situation is a crisis situation. Even the Bhagavatam, Maharaj Parikshit, now he knows I have 7 days. Arjuna at least knew that he might come out alive, assuming he cares for his life. He didn't. Maharaj Parikshit was sure, I am going to die in 7 days. So it was not a question of whether I live or not. The question was more about how best to use the 7 days. And in case of Arjun, one can say it is even more desperate, because not only it's not about his own life, it's about like either I will live or I have to take the life of those who I love. That is mutually exclusive. It is not going to be possible in war that both Bhishma and Arjun live. Once one of them has to die for one side to be victorious. That is even more desperate. So the point is, there is no time to ask frivolous or trivial or shallow questions. That is the point. And those are the kind of questions one must have. That is called Saddharma Pricha. Not just, okay, because there is no time, I keep asking any questions, then I wait for 10, 20 seconds. Then somebody may think, oh, Prabhuji nobody's asking question, let me ask. I'm just making a joke. But like this, or something like, sometimes in some question, okay, since there is nothing to ask, I will ask a question. Or something, again, it's not about this, but these frivolous or these shallow questions, they only come when you do not have a more desperate question. If you're trying to think, what should I ask? A person with cancer will not ask a question which is other than how to treat my cancer. Anybody, anywhere he will go, do you know a good doctor? Do you know anybody who has gone through this situation? What helped him? Maybe that will help me. That's the only question he will ask. So there is no time to ask. So that is the meaning of Saddharma Pricha. That should be there. So these questions that they asked, both Parikshit Maharaj and Arjun, were very deep questions. So the question really, and I will end with this, food for thought, what is our urgency? Nobody here is destined to die in 7 days, hopefully. And nobody is having to fight a world war. So what is our urgency? Please think about it. I will leave you with this question and we will discuss next time. Please think about it. What is our urgency? Otherwise, the questions will be of the nature, very trivial, frivolous nature. Yeah, Sai Prabhu is talking about the urgency of Gopakumar. So what is the urgency in our life? So we will stop here. Again, I will ask again, no irony intended, but any questions, comments at this point?
Prabhu, can I say something?
Okay, make it brief, please.
Yeah, our time is running, but very, very Purvajanma Punya, we took this human life, human body. With this body, we have to do, what can we do? We have to do in every aspect. That means what is Krishna is liking, and what is Krishna is inspiring us. That is the main point. And
so you are answering
we have to do
what is our urgency? Is that what your
urgency? Life is going on. That is the point. We have to do. We have to search what can we do for the Krishna happiness, like that, and like already you say, bhajan and kirtan and servicing deities, devotees, and
so what I would
poor
like,
people.
Yes, that's very nice point. And what I would like to say is, many of us, including myself, think, oh, we have long life, at least 10, 20, 30, 50 years. So we are moving on the right track. I go to temple every Sunday. I hear Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. I'm on the right track. Doesn't seem like a urgency, as if urgency in the mode of like tomorrow there's a war, or urgency like, I have a fatal, or not fatal, what is called a life-threatening disease. And if I don't take action, then it will become terminal. Terminal means I'm definitely going to die. So how do we generate that urgency? That is the question. Yes, we all know that we must dedicate our life for Krishna. That part is at least theoretically clear to everyone, at least theoretically. The question is that I am asking you to think through the week is how to convert, or how to generate or manufacture urgency. What is the urgency in our life? Please think. Because only then, when there is a sense of urgency, then our acharyas and our seniors say that very dedicated, pinpointed, focused action comes up. Otherwise, when we have this sort of a vague goal, then we keep moving slowly. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. If nothing else, then we will end here. Thank you so much for joining. We will resume next week and we will continue. Thank you so much. Srila Rupa Goswami, Prabhupada.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you.
I came only in the last, sorry.